What's going on, guys? It's CCA, and today we are going to make a Rainbow Six tier list, this time on every single weapon in the game. Now, you're going to see all of the regular semi-auto pistols already in this pistol tier list that I've created, because I feel like more or less they're all very, very similar. Obviously, you do have guns like the Deagle, the Magnum, and even like the Makarov here that are a little more heavy hitting, but I mean, it's gonna take way too long if we go through every single secondary in the game, so I've kind of just lumped all of like the regular semi-auto sidearms in this tier list. However, I do have, as you can see, a few of the other sidearms that I'm going to grade here because I feel like they're a little more effective and a lot less situational, unlike these sidearms here. So let's just start cracking through this tier list. As you can see, like I said, all of the effective, I believe, sidearms are up here. Then next we've got the shotguns, followed by the LMGs, and then after that we've got the DMR slash sniper rifle category here. Moving through that, we have all of the assault rifles in the game, and finally we'll end with the SMGs. So let's just start off with the sidearms here. So the SMG-11, an absolute classic in Rainbow Six Siege, absolutely goated SMG, and I think this has got to be, honestly, genuinely the best secondary in the game. I mean, shotgun smoke, shotgun mute, you're gonna have to use the SMG-11 pretty much any time someone has this gun. I have it equipped, Amaru has access to it as well, and it's just an absolute beastly secondary. SMG-12 might also have to be an S tier as well, bro. I think these two guns are very similar in terms of performance and recoil and fire rate. SMG-12, just being that it has a like built-in suppressor, absolutely godly on Warden, Dokkaebi, all of the operators that have access to it, and yeah, it's just a world-class secondary. These two are the undisputed goats in the secondary column. The Bearing 9 is up next, and honestly, I'm gonna put it in again, it's a good secondary, just lacks a little bit of the fire rate that these two do. A lot easier to control though, and it's just very, very solid. It's on a few good operators that I enjoy, and I think it's just a pretty solid secondary at that. The CC is up next, and honestly, D tier, maybe even E tier. This would be a good secondary if the SMG-12 here wasn't a thing. I think these both got released on the same operators, and 9 times out of 10, the SMG-12 is going to be way better. Plus, you can't even put a sight on the CZ, which, yeah, pretty garbage. Not a good iron sight at all. And yeah, man, that's why I'm tossing it down into D tier. Next is this. I don't remember the name of the gun, but it's Clash's secondary and Kali's secondary. And you know what? I'll probably put it at B tier. I definitely prefer the Bearing 9, but it's still very, very solid. Decent fire rate. Has a red dot that you can toss on top of it. Yeah, just decent, pretty good secondary. Fully auto pistol there. Next, we've got all of the shotguns. I think, ooh, it's tough. I think the Bearing 9, if we're gonna be doing the secondary shotguns, is the worst out of them all. So we'll put it down into F tier. Don't get me wrong, it's a good secondary to always have. If you have the Bearing 9, definitely equip it. I think Doc has it. I forget who else has it, but it's only going in F because out of these 3 secondary shotguns, it is by far the worst. Next is Mira's shotgun. We'll put this in. Honestly, I'm gonna put it in either B or A here. I'll put it in B because I think the Super 90 is the best secondary shotgun. Again, Mira's shotgun is very solid. You know, we'll put it up into A because it's still decent. Just I think the Super 90 inches it out a little more because it only has 3 shots that you can load into it, but you can fire them all very, very this over sometimes even Cade's SMG. But yeah, it's just okay. Nothing crazy. I think the only reason people use it is because of the scope, obviously. But yeah, let's move on now to the shotguns. As you can see, I'm trying to kind of fly through this because there's so many weapons in Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. So let's just start off with the shotguns here. And first off, I don't know why I've started off with this shotgun because I think this is the best one. The Mossberg, aka the F95A1, I think is its official name. I could be wrong. I might be so close, but I think this is by far, maybe not by far, but it is such a good shotgun, and I think it's the best shotgun in the game. Maybe, like depending on who you ask, could be second place in the game because there is another shotgun that is also absolutely unreal. But next up is the Spaz 12. This thing back in the day used to be absolutely ridiculous. Back when Valkyrie first came out with this. Nowadays it's just kind of a D-tier shotgun, nothing crazy. Very lackluster, not very good range, and yeah, it's just very, very subpar. Next is Pulse's shotgun, the M1014, another semi-auto shotty, which actually packs a good punch. I'm gonna put it in C tier again. Another pistol, excuse me, another shotgun that got heavily nerfed throughout the game's lifespan, and nowadays I honestly very, very rarely equip this onto Pulse. Sometimes it's very situational where I will prefer it on Pulse, but Castle is pretty much a lock for the UMP, especially now that they have the ACOG on him. So yeah, not the best shotgun ever. Next is the Russian one, SASG-12, aka the Sausage 12. Another shotgun that's a little bit lackluster. I'd say it's very on par with the Spaz. Not anything too crazy in my opinion. It's just very okay. Next is Cav's shotgun. I don't remember what it's called. Maybe the Spaz 15, I think is what it's called. Could be wrong. just try to rework some of these shotguns because they all kind of get lumped together and are very, very average or subpar. Speaking of subpar though, this shotgun is absolutely nothing to do with that because the Supernova, I think, is on par with the Mossberg in a sense where this thing hits like an absolute truck. Honestly, I've started using this gun on Amaru a lot more now because it is just so absolutely ridiculous at range. You can shoot guys, one-shot guys, up to like 20 to 30 meters with this thing. I feel like sometimes it is so freaking good, so underrated, and yeah, it's an S tier shotgun for me, bro. Very, very good. M870 pump action shotgun. It might be a C or a B tier. I'm gonna toss it in C tier because honestly, it is a decent shotgun, but I feel like it's the same old story with a couple of these other shotties. Is that the other primaries you can use for the operators that have access to this thing are just a million times better. So C tier for me. The French shotgun, I forget its name. Gosh, a lot of these shotgun names, I just have no clue what the heck they are. But again, another C tier shotgun. It's a pump action that's okay, but I feel like, again, same old story. The primaries you can use when this shotgun is available are just better. So, gonna go into the C tier. The Boss G. Ooh, I feel like with the Boss G slug-based shotgun, double barrel, I feel like either you hate this thing or you love it. It has access to the ACOG, which makes for some interesting gameplay on this thing. I'm sorry guys, that's an F tier. It's an F tier, bro. Like this thing is just a meme cannon. It really is at the end of the day. And yeah, man, like don't be using this thing. Don't be using this thing in ranked, bro. It's not good. It just isn't. Well, I think we'll just end it at that. Next is Cade's semi-auto shotgun, another magazine-fed shotty, and man, this might have to go into A tier. Another shotgun that absolutely, it's like a truck slug shotgun. However, so you're not going to be able to get the spread of these two shotguns, but it is still so good. It has a very, very solid fire rate in terms of it being semi-auto. You can't really, there's no really limits to how fast you can shoot this thing, and has an ACOG, so very, very good shotgun. Next is Ellis shotgun, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a shotgun that doesn't get enough love. I will be honest, it's not anything crazy, but especially if you're playing with Ella, when you can use those Gersmont mines and this shotgun to your advantage and just kind of play close angles. My Xbox just turned on randomly. That was a little bit creepy. I don't know if you heard that. I think there's ghosts in my room. Just turned it back off. That was a little creepy. Anyways, Ella's shotgun. If you're able to play off of those Gersmont mines, I think this thing can be okay. But again, I think this is just another D tier shotgun. Very, very underwhelming again. And I feel like half the time, some of these shotguns just feel like they're shooting like frozen peas at people instead of bullets. So yeah, man. Next up is Frost's shotgun, the Super 90. Man, this thing used to be nicknamed the Sniper 90 back in the day. I remember year one, this thing was broken. Oh my god, this was the absolute bane of my existence back in the day. Nowadays, again, I might even throw it down into E tier. Honestly, I think I'll throw this shotgun down to E tier as well, because I think I'd rather use these shotguns over these ones for sure. Yeah, another shotgun that's just crap. It's just bad. And last but not least is, I think it's called the ITAL 12S. Maybe that's the shortened one, but I think it's the ITAL 12 shotgun, another pump action. Honestly, I think I've only ever used this shotgun maybe like 2 or 3 times in my life, because again, I think the only person that has access to it is Mira. I'm not sure if anybody else does as well, but if you're not using the Factor on Mira, what the heck are you doing? Gotta be, I might even throw it in F tier, because there's literally no reason to ever use that shotgun. So, yeah, man, is king, and this thing does not have rate of fire, so yeah, C tier, just because it has that 2-shot kill potential to the body. Next up is Maestro's LMG. Man, back in the day, the hip fire on this thing used to be insane. This thing used to be a laser beam as a hip fire. Now it's gone through a few nerfs, but honestly, I feel like this is still a really solid LMG. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Honestly, great fire rate, very manageable recoil as well, and you used to be able to have an ACOG on this thing, which was absolutely ridiculous. Nowadays, you can't obviously have one of those, but it's a good gun. It's a very good gun. I just wish Maestro's gadget was a little better. I feel like they nerfed his evil eyes right into the ground, which has made him not so good nowadays. However, his gun, very, very, very solid. He's another guy that has access to the bailiff, I believe. And you know what? This doesn't feel right having this thing in F. I'll bump it up to E. Honestly, it does not, like, because this thing is always just so nice to have in your pocket, especially when you've got the LMG primary, right? But next is the Russian LMG LFP1, I think is what it's called. That could be 100% wrong. I hope I got it right, but anyways, Russian LMG, honestly, probably one of the worst LMGs in the game. Another case where you just have better options in terms of primaries. If this thing is available, Fuse has the AK-12, which is really solid. Don't use the LMG on him. Finka has the Spear 308, which I also believe has access to this. And I don't know, it's close between those two, but this thing is just very, very hard to control. I don't remember who else has access to it, but yeah, it's just not that good of an LMG. The G8A1, on the other hand, is very solid. I'm going to put this in B. Good fire rate. Recoil can be a little bit difficult to control at times, but the operators that have access to it are, like, it is very solid. IQ has access to it, and Amaru, and I don't know, I think it's just a decent LMG. It's good because it's magazine fed as well, so it doesn't take forever to reload, but yeah, just decent, very solid. I would definitely use Maestro's LMG over it, but it's just good. Next up, we have the M249. However, there are two different variants. There is the 100 round magazine M249 that I believe Cappy Tau has access to, and that might be a D or a C tier. I'm gonna put it into I'll put it into C tier just because it, honestly, there are times where it is very good. I think especially Capitao can be solid because that Para 308 I think has somewhat similar rate of fire to the M249, but I don't know, with me I just always prefer an assault rifle that has a magazine that doesn't take forever to reload, and that's why I'm going to put the M249 that has the 70 round magazine, or 75, whatever it is, maybe 60 round, in B tier, just because it's a faster reload, less ammunition obviously in the mag, but faster reload, and that is just king on Gridlock. I think she has a better primary that we'll get into in the future, but definitely would prefer this variant of the M249 than this one, but that's just my opinion. Next up, Sophia's LMG. F tier, bro. Honestly, garbage LMG. It's not that, it's just too hard to control, and again, I kind of spoiling some future ratings here, but the other primary on Sophia is just so much better, and you just don't really have much reason to use this gun. It's not that good. Rate of fire isn't all that good, and yeah, man, just not anything crazy. Last but not least, in the LMG category is Ying's LMG, and this might be, honestly, I'm putting it in S tier. I think this is the best LMG in the game. The fire rate isn't crazy, but it's got a fast reload. It's got a good enough fire rate, and it's just, it packs a punch. It hits like a truck, and yeah, man, I think if you're reason I'm gonna put this in D tier is the thermal. It's very, very situational, but sometimes you can get a really cool thermal kill with this thing, and that always makes it a lot of fun. It's very, very subpar, but I don't know, man. It sometimes can be fun. The MK14 is up next. Dokkaebi has access to this one. Also, Aruni, I believe. I think that's her name, Aruni. But yeah, I honestly think this is one of the better DMRs in the game. And you know what? I'm gonna even slap it. Nah, you know what? We're gonna leave it at A tier. I think this is one of the better DMRs in the game. It hits like a truck. Great. It's semi-auto, obviously, but I feel like if you have a good trigger finger, this thing is really, really easy to control as well. And yeah, probably up there with one of the better DMRs in the game. I think on a Rooney, I would rather have the MK14 than the P10 Rooney. Just a very solid DMR. Next is Buck's DMR. I forget what it's called, but honestly, might be another D tier gun for me. Maybe C tier. I'll put it C tier. It's very hit or miss, I think, for me. I think Buck is a better option in terms of primaries, but yeah, it's just okay. I don't know. It's like, yeah, it's just that. It's just okay. Not my favorite gun in the game, but I have made it work at times. Next, I think this is the SR-15. I think that's what this DMR is called. I could be wrong. But bro, honestly, like E tier. I think this is Blackbeard's DMR that he has access to. Honestly, Blackbeard is in such a bad spot in this game because he has two absolutely garbage guns. And you know what? I'm already kind of like spoiling that. Where is Blackbeard's assault rifle? It's somewhere in here. There it is, the MK17 or the MK20, whatever that gets called. This is also E tier, bro. He's got two garbage guns. No rate of it, like the rate of fire isn't any good. And as soon as you have that shield on him, he is like literally, he's not even a 1 speed. He's like a 0.5 speed. It's terrible. He is so bad, and they gotta completely rework that guy. I don't think the shield is giving him any good. But let's get back on track. Up next, the AR-15. This is, I think, in my opinion, the best DMR in the game. You got Maverick equipped with it, and Dubarao, and no matter who you're using this thing with, it hits like a truck. 10-round magazine is a little less than I would like, but if you're hitting your shots with this thing, you have really no reason to be reloading it constantly. And even if you are, it's got a pretty fast reload from what I remember. So yeah, absolutely sensational DMR. Now we've got the 417, and I think it's another D tier semi-auto rifle. Nothing special. I think you can use this on Twitch and somebody else. I don't remember who else has access to this, I can't lie, but I'm pretty sure whoever else has access to this has a better option in terms of their primary. So yeah, man, I'm not the biggest fan of the 417, never have really liked it, honestly. But finally, we are moving on to the best weapons in the game, and that being the ARs and SMGs. And you know what, I think I'm gonna do the SMGs first, so we're gonna go bottom up here. And first is Kate's SMG. I forget what it's called, I can't lie. Oh, I think it's like the AUG A3. I think that's what it is. We're gonna put this into maybe C tier. It's a very run-of-the-middle SMG. I would rather use his shotgun, honestly, than his SMG. It's very average. Rate of fire are some people that aren't a huge fan of it for whatever reason. I think it's one of the better SMGs. I'm not gonna lie, it is so good, and I absolutely love this thing. I love Legion with this thing. I think Oryx has access to it as well. Could be wrong on that, but absolutely fantastic SMG. Up next is the MX Storm, MX5 Storm, I think is what it's called. Oh my gosh, I'm kind of bad with these names of guns. I think I nailed it though. Alibi's SMG. Oh man, this thing would be so good if it had a little bit less recoil. I'm gonna put it in C tier. Great rate of fire, fast reload, but bro, it's got a ton of recoil. It's very hard to manage. Get another SMG that would be so good if it just had a little bit less recoil. And yeah, I think Alibi would honestly even see a little more playtime if this thing was a little bit better. Very fun SMG though if you're able to manage the recoil control on it. It, like I said, great rate of fire. Hit, like, the damage on it isn't very good though, so you're really gonna hit those headshots with this thing. Next is the Vector. S tier, immediate S tier. I think it's the best SMG in the game. Absolutely ridiculous rate of fire. Might have the highest rate of fire in the game in terms of all the guns. I'm not sure if it's the SMGs 11 or 12 or the Vector, but yeah, man, best rate of fire on Goyo. This thing is, I mean, an ACOG on the Vector is just ridiculous. So yeah, bro, it's insane. Surprisingly, very simple to control, even though it has a crazy rate of fire. But yeah, bro, insane gun. Next is the P10 Roni. This is another gun I would have an S tier if it still had the ACOG, bro. Mozzie with the P10 Roni and an ACOG was ridiculous back in the day. Nowadays, I think this is more of like a B tier SMG. I'm not gonna lie. I really do think the ACOG made this thing unreal. But yeah, B tier, great rate of fire. I just think it suffers from not having that ACOG. It really does. Yeah, honestly, I still would use this over the 5.52 Commando on Mozzie. But yeah, it's just a B tier, I think, which is still good, don't get me wrong. But now that I've spoiled that gun, where is the 5.52 Commando? Here, there it is. We're gonna put this down into D tier, honestly. Good damage, not great fire rate. It's got probably one of the coolest reloads in the game. But yeah, when you're looking for an SMG, you're looking for fire rate. This does not have it. If this had an ACOG, this would probably make me consider using it over the P10 Roni, but fire rate is king in Rainbow Six, so yeah, D tier for me, bro. Next we got the MP5. Oh man, I think this might go into A tier. I don't know what it is with some people, but a lot of people hate the MP5 for whatever reason, especially because this thing has access to the ACOG now. Like on people like Doc and Rook, I've been seeing them get a skyrocket, an absolute skyrocket in like picks, in terms of ranked and stuff. Like a lot of people have been using them way more often, and I think MP5 is the way to go on those guys. ACOG, great fire rate, easy to control, recoil, and pretty decent reload speed. Yeah, great SMG there. Next to the MP5 SD. Oh, the only person with access to this is Echo, but honestly, this is gonna go into B tier for the sole reason that it does not have access to an ACOG. If this had an ACOG, honestly, it's an S tier, but no ACOG equals B tier for me, bro. It's tough. SMG. It doesn't even need an ACOG. I don't know what people's problem is with this SMG, but I absolutely love it. I think it's got laser beam accuracy, a great fire rate, and sure, it doesn't have the best damage in the game, but I feel like I'm really able to hit headshots with this thing so consistently. I think it's one of the better SMGs in the game, not because of its damage, but because of it's so easy to control, and it's got great fire rate, very easy to manage, and yeah, bro, A tier SMG for me. Very solid SMG and very underrated. Next is the MPX. This one is gonna depend on who you talk to, I'm not gonna lie. I personally really like this thing. I'm gonna put this in B tier. Now don't get me wrong, this thing doesn't have any damage at all. It barely has damage. But another gun that has a good rate of fire and is just laser beam accurate, bro. On Warden, it's a tough call on whether to use this shotgun or this gun. A lot of the times, I've been seeing a lot more Wardens using the Mossberg nowadays, but I will still bring this on Valkyrie 9 times out of 10. Her shotgun just doesn't cut it, and I don't know, I still see people bringing it on Warden, so yeah, I am gonna put it on B. Not the craziest in terms of damage, but great fire rate and great accuracy, so that's what's putting it a little higher in my opinion. Next, we got a couple stinkers coming up. Next is Caveira's SMG, F tier, bro. Caveira might have the two worst primaries in the game. She's got probably the worst SMG in the game, and a shotgun that I personally like, but I can see why a lot of people don't. It doesn't have the best range, but yeah, I've put her shotgun in B tier, but I think in terms of, punch, she might have the worst two primaries in the game, this SMG being probably the worst SMG in the game. However, next is Frost's SMG. I think it's called the Type 90, I could be wrong. Now, if this was a few seasons ago, this would be an easy F tier. Again, very similar performance to Caveira's SMG, low fire rate, doesn't really pack a punch, just not very good. But nowadays, I might just bump it up to C for the sole reason that it has an ACOG. That is the only reason this thing is on C. And yeah, bro, honestly, I would only use this gun on Frost because I think she's another person who has terrible primaries. She's got a terrible shotgun and a very lackluster SMG. I'm only putting it in C because of the ACOG, but yeah, not the best gun in the game, that's for sure. Honestly, I might even throw it down into D tier because I feel like an ACOG makes it so much better than it actually is. And I'd say in terms of performance, it is pretty. I would say the Commando is a little better than this, but Commando doesn't have an ACOG, so yeah, bro. Only a few more SMGs left. Man, this video is looking like it's going to be pretty long. We've got the MP5K up next. I think this is more of a C tier SMG as well. Very similar stats to the MP5s, but this one doesn't have an ACOG, and I just don't feel like it does as much damage. I could be wrong on that, but it would make sense if that was the case, and I feel like this gun is on Wamai. This thing is actually pretty nuts because it has an ACOG. So you know what? I'm gonna put it on B tier. You know what? Ooh, now that I'm thinking about it, it is pretty insane with Wamai. I'm putting it into A. Never mind. I was thinking more along the lines with Mute, as you've got the Mossberg shotgun instead of this, but on Wamai with the ACOG, it is so good. So I'm gonna stick him into A tier with this SMG. It's pretty decent. Up next is the P90. SMGs left. UMP is up next, and I think it depends who you're using with this. On Castle with the ACOG, it's decent. I don't remember if Pulse has an ACOG, but I think in terms of how decent the gun is, it might be a B or a C. I think just a low rate of fire, I'll put it in C just because you do have the access to the ACOG. I know a lot of people love it because it's very, very easy to control, but there's better SMGs in my opinion, honestly. I mean, there's way better SMGs in my opinion, for sure. So yeah, it's gotta go into C. Only reason it might be a little higher is because of that potential for the ACOG. MP7, on the other hand, is up there, I think, with the Vector. I think this is such a good SMG. Absolutely love it. And honestly, one of the only guns in the entire game that I'll use the iron sights on. I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love the iron sight on the MP7. It's so just crystal clear aiming through the iron sight. It's got a very open field of view, which not a lot of iron sights have. And this thing is just wonderful. Very very high rate of fire and very manageable recoil. So yeah, down to the last SMG, and it's going to be the FMG9. Not the best SMG in the game. I'm gonna put it in D tier, honestly. I'm maybe C on Nook. But in general, I'll put it in C. It's got a decent fire rate, but I don't know. It's something about it. It's just a little clunky to use. Okay, that does it for all of the SMGs. Up next are all of the assault rifles, or kind of assault rifles. We've got a couple assault rifles on the defense side, and we've got one attacker SMG. Technically, like it's an SMG. So we'll start off with the PDW. Jackal's got access to this, and OSA. It's okay. I'll give it a C tier, honestly. Yeah, I think I'll give it a C tier. I would only use this on OSA. Jackal is an insane assault rifle, but it's great rate of fire. 50 round magazine is also quite nice, and yeah, sometimes it's fun to use, sometimes it isn't. Yeah, it's just pretty okay, honestly. Next is the K1A Vigil's assault rifle. Yes, it is indeed an assault rifle. I'm gonna put this honestly in B tier. This is a lot more fun to use. I really enjoy this gun. Low recoil, high or kind of high-ish fire rate for an assault rifle, and it's just a lot of fun. This thing would be insane with an ACOG, bro. Love this gun on Vigil. Next is Jaeger's 416C. Dude, this thing was an absolutely legendary gun, bro. If you've played Rainbow Six for a while, you'll know this thing was ridiculous. So, like, nowadays, it's an absolute shadow of its former self, and I really do miss the 416C ACOG with just insane fire rate. But nowadays, honestly, bro, it's like a B tier. It's like a B tier gun, honestly. This thing was by far the best gun in the game back in the day with the ACOG, and Jaeger's ability in general was so solid as well, just being able to deny nades. But yeah, B tier. I might even consider a C tier here, but I'm gonna keep it there. Next, we've got Nomad's ARX 200. It's kind of a love-hate relationship I have with this thing. I think if with a 30-round mag, this thing would be so solid. But I'm gonna give it a C tier again. I really like the fire rate, and it does a decent amount of damage, but there's a few guns in the game that got 20-round mags, and yeah, I feel like whenever I'm shooting these things, they just run out of ammo too fast. So yeah, it's a shame that it's got the 20-round magazine, but yeah, bro, it is what it is. It's a decent gun, but if it had a bit higher of a magazine capacity, I would definitely be grading this a little bit higher. The F90, I believe this is Gridlock's gun, exclusive to Gridlock. S tier gun. If this was on a 3-speed operator, you guys same story as the ARX, as it has a 20 round mag, but I'm putting it in A tier. This is a gun with a 30 round magazine. It's an easy S tier, great fire rate, great recoil. It is a little bit, it does suffer from a little bit of horizontal recoil, so I think I still use the flash hider on it, which compensates for the vertical climb, but it can benefit from a compensator if you are able to control that recoil a little bit. Compensator is decent on this thing, and yeah, I don't know. It's a great gun. Just another same old story as the ARX. Wish it had a 30 round mag, but it's so freaking good. I love this assault rifle on Hibana. Next is the Spear. I'm gonna put this in D tier, bro. It's okay. It's nothing crazy though. It's like it for whatever, it doesn't have an insane fire rate, but it has a ton of recoil for whatever reason. It's I don't know. It's not anything amazing. On Finka, it feels like it has way less recoil because you'll be Finka boosted, and that helps that out a little bit. But when you're not Finka boosted, dude, this thing makes you shoot up in the sky. It's not the best assault rifle in the game by far, and I'm putting it in D. Next, we've got the AK-74 40 round magazine AK. I might put this in D or E tier as well. Honestly, it's such a mid gun. I'm gonna keep it in E tier, bro. That might make some people angry, but I've been using a lot of Deimos lately, and the only reason this thing is any good is because it has a 40 round magazine. Bad fire rate, very bad fire rate. The recoil can sometimes be kind of tough to control, even though it's got a bad fire rate. Yeah, man, just not the best assault rifle in the game by far. It's not good, and I think that's the reason they've slapped it on Deimos, because he's got a great ability, but they had to give him a very, very mid gun. Next, we've got the M4. Oh man, I love this gun. If only this gun had a little less recoil, it would be absolutely disgusting, but I'm putting it in A. Great fire rate. Honestly, now that I think about it, the recoil isn't as bad as I thought it was before. Great gun. I think the only person with access to it is Maverick, but I absolutely love this gun. It is so freaking good. So freaking good. Great gun. And one of my favorites, the V308. Now this might be a controversial decision, but I'm also gonna put this, should I put it in A tier? I'm gonna put it in B tier. I love this gun. The 50 round magazine just makes it so much fun. Doesn't have an amazing fire rate, but it is very easy to manage, and I don't know, I feel like this thing hits like an absolute truck. It's so much fun to use, and bro, if this thing's fire rate was just a little bit better, it would be an absolute machine. Next is the V308. This is an A tier gun. I've started using Zofia a little bit more. I think they buffed this assault rifle a little bit in recent times, and great, like I keep saying, great recoil, great fire rate, and it just hits like a truck, bro. Nice and easy reload speed as well. 4C though. Next is the AUG. Not anything crazy. Might even, I'll put it in C. It's another one of those run-of-the-middle assault rifles. I might start moving them over here so you can actually see what I'm grading. I'm not sure if my face cam's getting in the way, but yeah, that's a C tier assault rifle for me. I can't really think of any operators that I would use it on. I don't think I'd use it on IQ. I don't know who else has access to it. Honestly, I can't remember. I know there's somebody else that has the AUG, but oh well. 5.52 Commando. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this gun. It's an A tier. It's an A tier gun. If it had a bit more recoil or a bit more fire rate, this thing would be ridiculous. I love this gun though. Not a crazy fire rate on it, honestly, but this thing with an extended barrel has the potential to two-shot kill, which is ridiculous for an assault rifle. Absolutely ridiculous. I think with an extended barrel, it can literally do like 50 damage or 51 or 52 damage, which is ridiculous. And I think it has a good enough fire rate to be able to consistently headshot people. It's so solid. Love this gun. Anytime I have access to it, I use it. G36C, it's gonna be a B tier, maybe an A tier, probably a B tier for me though. A gun that I really like using on Yana, but again, if you're using Ash, I think you're mainly going for the R4C. But it's still very decent fire rate, decent reload speed, decent control on the recoil. It's just very decent, you know. Not an outstanding weapon, but it's good enough. You know what I mean? F2. Oh, there's gonna be some people that struggle with the recoil control in this, and so I'm gonna put this in A tier. But in the right hands, this thing is S tier. I love the FAMAS, nicknamed the F2 in Rainbow Six, so I'm putting it in S. Love the FAMAS. I wish it still had the vertical foregrip on it, because that thing made this thing absolutely ridiculous. Now we got the SC3000K, only accessible through Zero. I love this SMG. It's gonna go into A tier for me. I'm noticing I'm putting a lot of these did I just say SMG? Oh my god, I love this AR. I'm noticing a lot of the ARs in the higher tiers, but I think that's just because the ARs are obviously the best guns, or they try to make them the best guns in the game. Well, this is not an exception to it. SC3000K, very high rate of fire assault rifle with great damage, and it's another gun that has access to the extended barrel, which makes it hit like an absolute truck. Great gun, and I use it pretty often on Zero, if I'm ever using Zero. L85 might be a B tier. This is a gun that has it's very similar to the G36, where it's just decent, you know, it's nothing crazy good, it's nothing crazy bad, it's just decent, gets the job done, you know, good fire rate, good accuracy, and yeah, honestly, it's just okay, it's just decent. I'm not gonna put it in C tier though, because I think I'd rather have this than the ARX, but yeah, it's just okay, you know. Nothing, it's like I said, it's not gonna offend anybody. We'll go for the AK-12. I think this is another S tier assault rifle, bro. I absolutely love this AR. It's a huge reason as to why I would use Ace over hard breachers like Thermite so often. Definitely one of my favorite guns in the game. I feel like I've said that a lot. But it's just absolutely fantastic. Great rate of fire and very easy to control. Super easy to control considering the rate of fire on this thing. It's so good. Only a couple ARs left, and honestly they're two kind of mid ones. AR-33 I'll do first. I'll put this in B tier as well. Again, another assault rifle that isn't going to offend anybody. It's just very average, very okay. Gets the job done. Flores is pretty solid with it. I think I'd use the L85 over the AR-33 on Thatcher, but that's just personal preference. I feel like these are two assault rifles that have very similar performance to opinions in the tier list. If you liked this, let me know in the comments. I have a feeling I'm gonna have pissed some of you off a little bit with some of these ratings, but hey, that's the beauty of opinions, bro. Everybody's got something different that they think is correct, and I'm very curious. Are there any decisions you made that you hated, or sorry, any decisions that I made that you hated, any decisions you would totally change up, or did you agree with a lot of my opinions? Let me know in the comments. I love these tier list videos, and I feel like every time I do Siege Week, I kind of have to include a tier list. I just think it's so perfect for it. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments of this tier list. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, hit subscribe. I've got another tier list. I'll link at the end of this video if you want to go and take a look at it. I did the operators, all of the operators in Rainbow Six Siege. So let me know what you think of that. Thank you so much for watching.